Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today I'd like to show you how I made this card. This is a card that I found on Connie Stewart website. And I just really liked the way it opened. It's a fun fold kind of card, and so it opens by grabbing this flap and pulling to the side, and then you can see the decoration here as well as what you've got on the inside. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to change up my colors. So I have here Gorgeous Grape, and this is cut at 11 by 4 1/4, and it's scored, and we will fold here at 5 1/2. And so I'm going to go ahead and score that fold. Now you need a piece of Whisper White that is 5 1/4 by 4 for the inside of the card. Then we need a piece of, I used Call Me Clover, one of the new in colors. This piece is 3 1/2 inches, yes, 3 1/2 inches by 3 1/2. Then we need a piece of scrap of the Gorgeous Grape to cut our frame for our little decoration on the front. Then we need another piece of scrap, and I chose a rather large one because I'm going to cut this piece out of it as well as stamp my sentiment at the bottom and cut that out of here as well. And let's see, what else do we need? The stamp set that I'm using for this is Beautiful Bouquet, and I'm using this sprig here, which is a 2-step stamping with these flowers, and I'm doing this in Call Me Clover and this in the Gorgeous Grape. Then the sentiments I'm using Happy Birthday, and then on the inside it says followed by many days and years of the same. And those are the stamps. Those 4 are what I'm using from this stamp set. Also, on this one, what I did was I stamped the flowers here on the card to give it a little texture. And on this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this front flap through the Seaside embossing folder and get some texture that way rather than try to stamp something. I'm also using a little bit of this ribbon, which is going away. I'm so sad. So I'm trying to use some of that up. And I'm using 2 framelets from the Layering Squares framelets, the largest of the scalloped framelets and the second largest of the plain square framelets. So that's what we need to do this. So let's just get started. I'm going to start by embossing the front of my folder, and I'll do that, and I will, well, actually, maybe what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take my ruler and a pencil, and I am going to mark in from the very edge of the fold 1 1/4 inches, and I'm going to put just a little pencil mark there. And then I'm going to put my ruler right on where that pencil mark is and come down to the corner here of this card. And I'm going to use my bone folder. Let me just get that set exactly right. It's pretty important to get this part right, otherwise your fold doesn't work. So I'm going to use my bone folder to score from that pencil mark to the corner of my card. And there you see I've got that. And that's going to allow me to fold this piece back on itself and make the fold. But before I do that, now that I've got this score mark in there, I'm going to run this through my Big Shot. I'm going to place this in my embossing folder, and I want to just cover the front panel, so you can set it here and then just push it inside of there, just a little nudge, because the embossing, as you'll see on the edge of the folder, doesn't go all the way to the edge. So that allows me to get the whole front panel, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back, and I have my front of my folder embossed, in front of my card, and now I'm going to fold this piece back against itself to get my fold here, going along that score mark that I made right into the corner. And what I'm going to try to do is get this so that it comes right along the bottom edge of the card and scores down and folds right into this corner. And I'm going to use my bone folder to get that exactly right. And there we go. Then score that fold in place, and that way we've got texture on the part of this card that is showing here and the part that will show around here. So, and you want to score this fold here, this diagonal fold, just as nice and firmly as you can, because you want this part of the card to stay closed, and it'll continue to do that as we add weight by adding the pieces on here. Let's see, maybe what we should do is do stamping next. So I have cut my purple piece that will go here, and I've cut my white piece that is going to go here, and my green piece was cut to the exact right size. So now, let's see, let me burnish that fold. Okay, so this piece can now actually be added to the card. And what we're going to do is put this corner on that edge of the fold and this corner on this edge of the fold, and it should give us a perfectly square setting. Now, because this is going to be open on this side, you only need to put glue on this half of the card piece. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and use snail. I still don't have my Stampin' Up! Snail in. So I'm waiting for that to come. And what we're going to try and do, and you can use anything you'd like. I'm going to put this across here so that I don't accidentally get snail or glue on the part that I don't want. But on the part that I do want, I want lots of glue, because this is going to attach itself to something that's already embossed, and this is how the card is going to open. So we want this glued down nice and firmly. So I'm going to put my square on those 2 points on the fold and secure that piece of card right down on my card. And there's the mechanism for opening this fold, already done. Okay, now what we're going to do is grab my pierce mat here and my silicone mat, and I'm going to do my stamping. And so what I'm going to do, I have my stamps mounted here, and I have my pretty Gorgeous Grape ink here. And again, I'm going to continue to show this. To open these new stamp pads, you will eventually get to the point that you'll just be able to, oh, there, that one's already there. You'll just be able to lift this up, and it's just like a compact. So I lift this up, then I found it works best to slide that in place, and then your stamp pad is open. And to close it, you'll pull this little tray towards you and just close this down, and that is all there is to it. and some people think that these are a little stiff to open the first time around, and sometimes they are. If they act stiff, what I've been doing is almost like you would take a coin to open something, put my thumbnail to the top and my forefinger nail to the bottom and push, and it just opens it right up. So again, push back into place, and now we've got this beautiful little piece in the bottom here that they supplied on the labels, which I don't know about you, but it happens to me that you get moving, and sometimes you dip your stamp in the wrong ink pad because they all look dark and you can't tell which color is which, and this is going to make that a little bit easier. All right, so on here, what I'm going to do is do my branch first, and I'm going to put that, I can see I've dipped it into my ink here, so I want to clean up my block to make sure that I've only got ink on the stamp itself here, and I'm going to push that fairly far down on the bottom of this corner here, because I want to put my stamp with my words up here, and I've got a limited amount of space here that I'm going to be able to do that if I put it up too high. So now I'm going to take my flowers and dip them into my beautiful Gorgeous Grape. I love this color. And it's a two-step stamp, and you can just line up, the flowers line up beautifully to the stems, and you can see the stems right through the stamp, and when you can see all of the stems, go ahead and stamp down. And there we go. Isn't that pretty? You get a nice stamped image, and then I'm going to take my followed by many days and years of the same, also in the purple, and I'm going to place that right here above my flowers, but down from the top so that it doesn't show above this green piece here. So right in here. And there we go. And if you wanted to, and maybe I will, add another little bunch of flowers here to the bottom. It's safe to do anything on the bottom. And so I'm going to lower this so that I'm really only getting those top branches. And then I'm going to put another little spray of flowers here along the bottom. And again, as soon as I can see all of my branches, I can feel comfortable. Let me get that just the way I want it. There we go. And stamp those flowers down. And there I've got some very nice decoration for the inside of my card. Okay, so right now that is all I'm going to need. So I'm going to put my ink away for the moment. And this is now ready to go on the inside of the card. This is really a pretty fast card. Now this one is real important to get your margins even on this other end here, because this is going to show on the card. So I want to make sure that this is down pretty evenly. There we go. And now it frames so nicely this little piece down here and gives us an edge here. So there we go with that piece set. Now I'm going to add, I'm going to do a little bit more stamping here first. I have my little piece here, and you can see what I did on this one. I stamped the flowers twice again, and so I'm going to do that same thing here. So back to my ink. Probably closed them up a little too fast. Alright, so I'm going to put my stems in place. And you know, I got a little bit of feathering on that last one, so I'm going to just clean this up. Have you seen the new chamois? There's a new product. Well, how would you have seen it? It's in the new catalog. You will see in the new catalog something called a chamois, and it's going to make cleaning up stamps while you're working on them and when you're having card classes, so you don't go through boxes and boxes of baby wipes. I think it's going to be a very interesting product, and some people have been able to pre-order them, and they're having really great success with them. So I'm going to stamp one of these here a little lower than I did on the one that's the sample, right here on this edge. Perfect. And then one just a little bit lower and over just a bit. There we go. Now I'm going to put my flowers on that, and we'll be ready to put this card together. So here are my flowers, and I'm going to hover over this until I can see all of my stems through the flowers, so that I know I've got everything centered and where it should be, and stamp those flowers. And then I'm going to come over here and do the same thing again. And this one's going to go off the page, but that's perfectly fine. And I might overstamp on the flowers here on this side, but that's also fine as far as I'm concerned. So there we go. And I did grab a marker here just in case, and sure enough, I want to add just a little tiny bit of detail there where it didn't stamp perfectly on that end. And there we go. That's absolutely, whoops, I see another spot. And when you add those little details, you get an absolutely perfect stamp. Of course, you could do that in your Stamparatus as well, but there you can see, isn't that just pretty? There's something about this color combination that I just love. So now I'm going to close up. No, I need my ink out for one more thing. I'm going to take a bit of that scrap that I have here and put my happy birthday, and I'm going to do that in the Gorgeous Grape. And on these where the birthday isn't straight, my suggestion is that you line up the happy straight and the rest of it will work itself out. So I'm going to set this down here, and I'm going to give myself a tiny bit of room to flag the end. I didn't like this one, it was way too long. So I'm going to set this here and stamp that right about there. There we go. And I'm just going to use my scissors to cut that piece down, and I'm going to flag this end here. All right, that's all we need to do. So where we are is, let me put the ink away. Here are my pieces. So here's our card. Here's our base with the new colors. And these two pieces are going to just be adhered together. So I'm just going to put a little bit of snail on the back of this piece and center it on my scalloped piece. Here. There we go. And then I'm going to take this piece, and on this one I put it behind the white, and I didn't like that as well. So on this one I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it behind the purple. So I'm going to put a little bit of snail right along here, and I'm going to add this piece here. So my happy birthday sticks out here. Then when this is centered, it should absolutely fit on the card without any difficulty. And so I'm going to put this piece up on dimensionals. All right, so now this piece is going to get centered on my green piece. Isn't that just a pretty card? I love that. And then we have only to put our ribbon on the end here, as this looks kind of plain here, but there is our card. Isn't that just pretty? I'm really pleased with this design. It's simple, it's easy, it's got a big impact, so just my kind of thing. So I'm going to take, and my experience is that you need about 14 to 16 inches, so maybe I'll go 15 here. About 15 inches of ribbon to go around the short side of the card here and tie a bow. And so, might have done that before I put that piece on there, but it'll work. So I'm going to just tie a bow here, and I'm going to move it up to this end, and I'm going to have to adjust my ribbon just a little bit in order to do that. There we go. And I've been talking about how to get good bows. So once again here, I'm going to make sure that my ribbon is flat on this side, not twisted. So I know that's flat. Then I'm going to take right over left, make sure these pieces are flat, and pull tight and straight up and down, so that these pieces coming in from the side are nice and about as flat as you can get them. I'm going to turn the whole thing upside down. So through, make your loop, then around and through the bottom from the back side, and then pull your loop ends. Okay, now then, you can adjust this to where you want it, and I'm going to make this bow actually loops a little bit smaller here, and pull again, and again fuss with it until you're happy with the size of the loops. And I don't want a giant ribbon and bow on this one. And then I'm going to set this more in the center, and if you are at all worried, I'm going to trim my ends here. If you are at all worried that this is going to bounce around, then you take a glue dot and put it right underneath the knot that you've made, and that should hold the whole assembly in place. And there we go. Now I'm going to pull this open, and I'm going to just burnish this fold again. And there we go. There we have it. That's the project for today. and a simple card, I think, but just as fun as it can be as far as the fold is concerned. And at first, this was Poppy Parade and Granny Apple Green, some of the new colors. And this one is Call Me Clover and Gorgeous Grape. And I think the color combinations are just really a lot of fun. Now this one, I put the greeting down below and didn't put a second group of flowers. And on this one, I put 2 groups of flowers and put the sentiment up above. So there's lots of ways that you can do this. And this one I stamped the exterior, and in this one I used an embossing folder, and you'll have to let me know which one you like and which color combination you like best. But that's the card for today, and thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And these items will, now the folder is available now. This ribbon is still available, and I just ordered some more the other day, so I know it's still available unless something's happened within the last couple of days. And it's such a pretty ribbon, and it's easy to color. It's a great thing. And let's see, this stamp set is something that's available in the catalog and will be carrying over to the new. The only thing that you'd have to wait for June, which is just about another week and a half, to order is the colors. And I think I'm going to have so much fun with some of these color combinations. And let's see, the prize draw for this month is the new In Colors, a set of the ink pads and the markers. And so that's it for me today. If you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Or you could join my team. I've been fortunate in having several people join my team here recently, some of them just to get the discounts and some of them that want to carry the business a little bit further, and I'm happy to support people with whatever their choice is. In any case, I'll be back soon with more projects and more cards. Bye.